Hi, and welcome to another Marketing Done Right. What I'm going to show you today is some tools that you can use to see if your sender domain is on a blacklist, or eventually you get an abuse report that you need to see it if you are doing something that it's considered to be spam. So I'm going to share the screen with you and see if you can check it out. As you can see, you can go to MXToolbox, for instance. It's a nice platform. I use it sometimes just to check if it's everything all right. For instance, for blacklists, if you think that you are being filtered as a spammer, you can check and place your domain name or IP address you're using for the settings. You just click here, blacklist, and eventually you're going to have, you hope, everything is on the green. And sometimes you have like a orange. It's not because you are being targeted, it's because it was the timeout, and it's not possible to see if on this list you are being considered a spam or not. So this is a good the tool for you to check it out and see if you have some deliverability problems or something like that. Okay, you can also see if the DMARC is well implemented. It's very important as an authentication, the sender the certificate. If you use the DMARC lookup, it says that, yeah, I'm using DMARC, and you can see the policies that I've used for SendXmail. And in this case, for instance, to receive the notifications about what happened with the emails that I've sent, I have two main platforms that I use to check how it's my sender reputation in that department. So I have my own on the SendXmail, but also I use DMARC as well. You can see DMARC EU. This is to protect our domains against email abuse, phishing. So this is a tool that I use to monitor how it's my sender reputation in this department. So another thing that you can check is, for instance, if you are on. So this is another tool that you can use, the Spamhaus.org. It's a project very interesting for us because its entire goal is to provide a spam-free environment for everyone using email. And there's a lot of lists they use to monitor known spammers. And someone that reports a spammer, it's going to end up on Spamhaus. This is the block list removal center. If eventually you are being tagged as a spammer, you can place your IP address here or the domain name. For instance, I'm going to test it. If I have my domain name sendxmail.com on Spamhaus, and it runs a quick search, and obviously thankfully I'm not on the list. Another thing that you can use to report spam, for instance, if you want to go ahead and not only by clicking on the spam button, but also to report any spammers that are keeping sending spam even though you are already subscribed and you are very tired of doing this over and over. This is a good tool to use to report spam. You just click here on report spam, and you can register. For instance, you have a login, and you can use that to also to forward the emails that you have for a specific email address, and then they take care of it. Otherwise, you can just copy and paste the headers of the email and place it here as well. Okay, so this is a very good tool to report spam, because after all of this, they are going to connect with the abuser, in this case, the spammer. And if nothing happens and they don't reply in a determined time period, they are going to report it to the spam lists that we've seen before. So this is some good tools that I think it could be interesting for you to use on a daily basis, and to monitor if you eventually are in some kind of spam database or a list that you don't want to be filtered on. So this is some free tools that you can use for that. And now let me just check another tool that I use frequently for me, for myself, my brands, and also my clients. It's this tool. It's very interesting because it can monitor what is being doing with your IP address or the domain name. For instance, if you want to check your IP and domain reputation, you can use this Talos Intelligence. I guess I'm not misspelling it. I hope so. So this is a great tool for you to check it out also, and you can see what it's being done with your domain name. For instance, with SendXmail again, let me just play it here. I'm going to search for this domain name. And as you can see, there's a lot of information that it gathers, like the mail servers. I'm using Google, the business account for Google, to manage my business emails, not my sending of email marketing. That's another platform. But as you can see, there's a lot of information that you can gather. And if eventually the domain name or IP address are being the target as a spammer, it's going to be over here. Also, one of the good information that nice information that you can have here, it's about an idea about what's happening about email and spam data. So you have an idea about the legitimate emails that are being sent on February, the last time they have made the report. 84% of emails sent was on spam. Just a small percentage was legitimate. So this is interesting for us to also see what's happening on a daily basis, or in this case monthly basis, of what's being done with spam. So there's a lot of information that you can gather here, like the top 100 IP addresses used to send emails in Portugal. It's my country, and as you can see, there's a lot of IP addresses with a poor reputation as a sender, and this is mainly because it's used by a lot of providers or clients. In this case, some of them are using it right, some of them are not so much. So this is something that you can be aware when hiring a service, or trying to make your own IP address more as a sender reputation, with a better sender reputation. In this case, for instance, for our clients, usually we advise them to buy a dedicated IP address just for them, to avoid, for instance, to be contaminated by other brands using the same IP address to send emails. Some of the biggest email platforms out there already allow you to have dedicated IP addresses using their platforms. So, for instance, on SendGrid, Amazon, MailChimp, whatever, the main ones, they allow you to use dedicated IP addresses just for you, and then you can avoid, for instance, to have your sender reputation harmed by what other brands also are doing. So this is just an idea for you to use on your personal brand or your company brand, of course. This is an idea for you to think about that when building up your email marketing strategy. And if you want to make your brand safer as a sender reputation, one of the tips that I usually do is to have a dedicated IP address, and especially to be in a different IP pool from other senders, which is very important because in that case you can safeguard your brand reputation and your sender reputation as well. So it's important to do that. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make the best use of these tools. I'm going to place the links on the description of the video. So if you want to check them out, it's very easily. It's all free. You can make the best use, and to be always alert about your sender reputation, your IP address, your domain name. If the SPs are blocking you or something like that, eventually it's because of this. So a quick checkup on these tools that I've mentioned, and you can already see if something it's wrong. And keep a close eye about the abuse emails that you may have when you send emails, and your email provider or the email platform, it's going to check it out, and sometimes they are going to alert you that eventually some people are blessing you as a spammer. So you need to really take action and not just being on the safeguard. You really need to engage with those emails, click on them and try to solve it, and explain that it's not spam. You already have the opt-in. Obviously you are going to unsubscribe the person and that, but it's important for you to explain what's happening, for these lists don't mark you as a spammer. Okay, it's very simple. You just need to click on the links they send you and make all of the process to explain what's happening. Okay, it's very simple. I hope this was useful for you. If it was, please share, like, subscribe to the channel if you think it's interesting, and I see you next time. Okay, bye bye.